This is the 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. That L part means this is the larger version of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And that means that for the first time in a decade, Jeep is diving back into one of the most important and lucrative segments there is, the three-row family SUV. Should the competition be nervous? That's what we're gonna find out. Believe it or not, this is the 5th generation of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. However, it is the first one to ever have 3 rows. Jeep is playing in this segment because this is the type of vehicle that Americans can't get enough of. We love 3-row SUVs. The bigger, the better for the most part. What's the competition against this vehicle? For the purposes of this video, we're gonna say it's the Kia Telluride, the Subaru Ascent, the Ford Explorer, and the Nissan Pathfinder. However, I would say that this is also up against the Land Rover Discovery as well. As far as design goes, I think that the Jeep team has done a pretty decent, let's call it evolutionary job on the new Grand Cherokee here. Certainly not revolutionary, but again, I don't think it's supposed to be. All the Jeep stuff you need is up front. You know, you've got the Jeep badge, of course. You've got the 7-row grille, although it's been softened, you know, it's widened out. It's not as aggressively militaristic. It's family friendly up front, which makes sense for a family SUV. Coming down the side, they nailed right here because, you know, you see this, you say, oh, that's a truck that can do some serious off-roading. And I think that's really good because what separates the Jeep from the competition? The fact that it can go off-road. Keep walking it back. You know, it's just sort of your standard looking SUV. Good job there. And then when you get out back, this part is pretty generic. You know, if you're following this thing on the road, well, it's just another big SUV in front of you. But that's kind of the point. Again, remember, this is the type of car that Americans love. So in that regard, maybe they've done a really good job. Now I'm inside the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and I gotta tell you, as far as like materials go and fit and finish and overall quality, this Jeep is just a little bit higher than the rest of the competition. It really does have an advantage. And that's important for, you know, a few reasons. One, of course, is that, you know, this is the Grand Cherokee L Limited, and that's one off the bottom as far as trim levels go, meaning there's 4 different trims above this, and, you know, as you pay more and more money, they get fancier and fancier and fancier. And this is both good and bad. I'll show you a bad example. You know, right here and right here, we have some kind of cheap hard plastics, which, you know, nobody likes. But if you were to get into the fancier trims, like the Overland, the Summit Reserve, they'd of course be covered up in leather or something even nicer than that. But even though this is, you know, towards the bottom in terms of pricing, you still get a lot of nice carryover features. For instance, this really nice wood right here. You've got contrast stitching across the leather on the passenger side dash. You've got some nice metal work here. Speaking of nice metal work, this is the shifter right here, and you've got the burled metal. Feels really good. You've also got matching burled knobs for volume and tuning. Back to metal. This little puck right here, it's your drive mode. So I'm in auto right now. I can go down to sport, push up for snow or sand or mud. It's just really high quality. And this puck is actually, the design of it is repeated here for the HVAC control. So it's nice that this actually matches. And then of course you have the infotainment screen, which is, you know, the center of your attention. And this is the latest version of now it's Stellantis's Uconnect system. It's really good. It's fast, it's bright, it's powerful, it's feature packed. Look at all the different features you get inside this thing. Just a quick look at these off-road pages. I can see that my transfer case isn't locked. It's a really nice package. As far as comfort goes, look, this is a big vehicle, pretty spacious up front, pretty good second row, remarkably great third row. And again, when you come to the interior of this machine, you know, especially at this price point, it really is impressive. When it comes to the performance of a 3-row family SUV, you gotta look at the whole picture, because it's not just the straight line stuff and the handling, but it's all the SUV stuff too, like towing and off-road capability. But we will start with the obvious stuff, and that is under the hood sits Chrysler's, at this point, archaic 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, which in this application makes 293 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. And you might say, well, I need more power than that. And I'll say, you can get this vehicle with the V8. In fact, it's the 5.7-liter Hemi V8. But before you rush out and buy that one, this thing with the V6 weighs 4,823 pounds. That's not light. Add a V8 and it adds 600 pounds to the weight of the vehicle. And all that weight is right here. So even if you get a little bit of a straight line advantage, the handling is just slaughtered. The V6 is so much nicer to drive than the V8. In fact, the V6 is nicer to drive than, well, all the competition. When it comes to the rest of the SUV stuff, hey, you can tow with this. You can tow up to 6,200 pounds and you can actually go off-roading. Not kinda off-roading like the competition. This thing can actually go off-road. If there's a downside to having a vehicle this heavy that has a slightly underpowered engine, it's that the fuel economy isn't great. We're talking 18 miles per gallon around town, 25 miles per gallon on the highway. As far as safety goes, no one has crash tested this vehicle, so we have no information. We just don't know. We do know it does come standard with a bunch of active safety features, including adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert. How much? You can get into a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee L for $42,120. However, that's for a rear-wheel drive Jeep, and who wants a rear-wheel drive Jeep? Exactly, nobody. So, if you want to step up to a limited 4x4 Quadra-Track 1 baby like this, you're talking just over $49,000. In fact, this one sitting right next to me is nearly $52,000. What about the competition? Well, the Subaru Ascent and the Kia Telluride, they're gonna be about $3,000 cheaper. A Platinum Nissan Pathfinder is gonna be about $500 less, and the Ford Explorer is gonna be about $2,000 more. And you might say, well, boy, that's on the more expensive side of the spectrum, but what I'll say is, well, I think this is a better vehicle in a lot of ways, plus it really does have a lot more performance. And when you compare it to a vehicle that has the off-road chops that it has, and we're talking about Land Rover Discovery, something like the P300 with its turbocharged 4-cylinder, and that starts at around $57,500, this Grand Cherokee L starts to really look like a good bargain. If there's one thing that I want you to know about the 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee L, it's that what's great about this is Jeep did their homework, right? They said, well, what have consumers liked so much about the Telluride? Okay, we're gonna give our customers all that plus some real capability. They'll be able to actually go off-road and go to places that the Telluride can only dream of. Were I in the market for a 3-row family SUV, I'd be thinking Jeep. To see vehicle rankings and a complete buyer's guide, please visit motortrend.com/cars.